Per usual, everything on this channel for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It is Set Up Sunday. Let's take a look at some charts. Not too much going on. We're on the precipice of something. Whether or not that something will be bullish enough to get us moving, we will see based on the waffling, flip-flopping news items we've got on tariffs. For the ETF flows last week, we were negative 710-ish, 708 for BTC, negative 89 for ETH. Year to date, we've basically been flat on BTC. That's one IBIT day of flows, 215 positive million, and then ETH has been nothing but negative. Really, it had 1, 2, 3 positive weeks, a flat week, and then tons of negative weeks. So nobody's trading ETH, no matter what they tell you. And it looks it based on price. Looking at the ETF, MVRV, we're almost at the break even at 71. I don't really personally care if we get down there. I don't think there's anything signaling strongly here that we're going to retest 70 at the moment. It would take a news item, right? It would take we're reversing all the decisions on tariffs and we're quadrupling them or whatever, right? I don't know. Sure, right? That would make everybody angry and things would sell off, probably. But so far we're holding up, and the MVRV itself has diminished substantially. This is market cap versus realized cap for the ETFs. What exactly that means, I'm not sure, but I'm just assuming it's relative to the cost basis. So this has almost reset completely, and that's good. That's what you want to see. I think it's important to just know what the ETFs are doing, because a lot of those flows are going to be driving price in one direction or another after we get off of neutral. So flows have been basically neutral. That includes the basis trade, and we're down what we're down year to date, right? If we go to the singular chart that matters for the week, it's probably this one. Do we have the ability to break the diag, break the pitchfork, break the cloud, even break the volume profile here, and try to get a little bit higher? We are teasing some higher highs on closes on low time frames. We'll take it. Can this be sustained? Can this just be held flat? We really haven't had a week where we haven't continued to make lower lows on whatever news, right? If throughout the week we can hold above 84, 85, great sign. If we can get above 88, 90, even better. Ultimately, a volume mean reversion would be 95, 96. That's where most of the volume sat before the breakdown. That would also retrace the entirety of the breakdown from February. The inverted head and shoulders idea, probably dead, but it's essentially the same here in that if we can break a diag, you get the same result in that we flip from bearish for months to potentially neutral at the very least. But 8-hour cloud is what I'll be definitely watching this week. Zooming way out, we're still in the mega pitchfork from 2022. It has survived SVB. It has survived fake ETF news. It has survived ETF news. It has survived 8 months of chop. And it has survived the down move here from 108. We're currently at the midpoint, so we've mean reverted in a bearish sense back to the midline here. You could potentially interpret this as a falling wedge. I saw some of those charts floating around. I don't hate it. Sure, we'll take it, right? Again, the end result is the same, whether this is just mean reversion tap and then liftoff or chart pattern or daily cloud, whatever it is, throughout this quarter or the entirety of the year. 150, not impossible, just based on what we've seen once we've held the midpoint. You get supporting evidence as you go, the more momentum that comes back in the trend. Obviously, currently we're momentumless, still leaning bearish. So if we can turn a corner, if we can even make this a U-shaped bottom, similar to what we did in 2024, fine, right? It doesn't really matter how we get there. It's just we need to turn the corner because we are very much at the do or die level on the pitchfork here. Anything below this level, and then we're swimming with the fishes in the bearish half of the bullish pitchfork. If we add pivots and cloud, this looks better above 96. That is feels like light years away from here. At this point, probably takes us into May, June to get anything. I'm really not bearish Q3 or bullish Q3, sorry, and especially September. September historically is awful. So if we're going to do anything, I imagine we try to do something closer to Q2 rather than Q3, avoid September, come back for Q4. That's the plan on paper, at least. So is this a slam dunk long? Probably not, but if you're sitting here hodling, I don't think you are super concerned at all until we, at this point, if we make lower lows at this point, which would be below 75, then I think everybody's worried for sure. For the moment, we're surviving, we're intact. Here's the cloud in isolation. You can see there's a flat cloud level at 92, 93. Nothing screaming here. It's just kind of trying to hold a level. Let's just hold a level this week at the very least. Now, the bullish hopium idea is power law. We break the midpoint, which once we break the midpoint, we have the opportunity to really send it. That would take some fundamental catalyst, whatever it is, doesn't matter at all, right? White House buying, the rest of the world buying, I don't care, doesn't matter. Whatever the catalyst is, we would need one similar to 2017, similar to 2020 into 2021 to help push us out of this channel that we're currently in. This would also be, by the way, breaking this pitchfork diag, which at this point is just the previous two highs. But let's say we're above 150 in Q3, then there's probably a pretty good chance we are sending it. We're just breaking all the rules, breaking all the seasonality, and just sending it. Not something to expect, but something to think about and watch for if, for whatever reason, we look a lot more bullish than we have been all year. And that's what it would take. It would take something fundamentally to get us to be back above the cloud, flip the cloud bullish, all these trend metrics bullish. You can pop on like the 1050 moving average. I don't think we've even crossed that yet. It's close. It's close, but we're just now trying to bottom. That's just the goal for the week. Can we try to bottom? For alts across the board, most of them really nothing to do, nothing to look at, nothing to watch. You've got charts like this on ETH, bearish since December. This is the 8-hour cloud. So until we're above this, I could care less what ETH does. ETH can go to 0, it can go to 1900, whatever, right? It needs to get back above this first. There's no pattern here. I see nothing. You could say there's a channel maybe. It just is what it is. Sol looks better than this. This has really nothing going for it at the moment. And as a trader, this is what you want. You want multiple setups, different days, different weeks. Now, if you're an ETH maxi holder who's staking, you're not happy. But if you're a trader, you could care less. So ETH, just a nothing burger at the moment, and the flows for the ETF would agree with you. They're just nowhere, right? Flat, negative, nobody cares. Something to think about here is if alts start moving, big if, is it better trade-wise to look at some of the beta stuff? Like, so if ETH starts to get bullish, is Pepe an answer? Is DeFi an answer? Is something like Aave worth paying attention to? Aave kind of had a counter-cyclic move a couple months ago, similar to Maker, where it was like moving out of sync with everything else as a trade. We're not quite there yet on Aave, but if for whatever reason ETH starts to get bullish and you want leverage, one way to do that is just look at ETH beta. Same thing with BTC. People always want leverage, and then they're going to something way down the market cap list and then adding leverage onto that. And then that at that point, it's like 50x leverage, basically. They're just not realizing it, but also just leveraged Bitcoin. That's all they really are. So Aave still in a holding pattern similar to ETH. This is Sol on the 8-hour. At the very least, Sol has broken a channel. It's trying to go higher. Is it a slam dunk long here? No. Again, throughout the week, let's just not go down. Let's just not make a lower low. Is that so hard? I like it better above 130. I like it better above 140 later in the week. But we look to be out of this down channel and trying to do something here. Trying. Certainly looks better than ETH, which is still swimming around. Now, as much as I'm talking about beta and ETH being junk, for whatever reason, Pepe looks like it's setting up on its own for a decent move. Not a this week trade, probably a this quarter trade. I don't think a this month trade, but it might trigger within the next couple weeks. If we can get bullish TK cross pricing cloud on the daily, that's huge. We are ways away from that, right? It's going to take a minute. That's why it makes more sense into May. But if we look at this even on the 12-hour, if you wanted to cheat it a little bit, if you can get a full bullish cloud on the 12-hour, let's take it. I'll be taking it. not financial advice, but not there yet. We're getting close. Like we're 1, 2, 3 weeks away potentially for something material here trade wise. It just feels a little early, and why it's moving or looks better than ETH, I don't know. Probably just because it's down much more than ETH. And as we're jumping around here, for whatever reason, Curve. It's been trading more bullish than everything else so far. It already has a bullish TK cross. It's already in the cloud. It already had its triple bottom inverted head and shoulders. Target is like 75, 88. Will it keep going? I don't know. Will it continue to outperform everything in the universe? I don't know. But right now, this is what we got. As a trade, as a setup, as a sector, maybe there's some legal DeFi tailwinds. I don't know. I don't care. Doesn't matter. This thing was setting up and looks better than ETH, clearly. So I'm currently long Curve. I did buy some Sol last week as well for the first time in months. Tron, again, for whatever reason, kind of trades with a mind of its own. In the daily cloud, bullish TK cross. Sure, some people are never going to touch this. Some people are going to love this, but it doesn't look like a lot of the alts out there, which just look like death, just sort of swirling down the drain. And if you like alts, you obviously are watching Total 2 in the red there. And again, it's important for the TradFi bros to know what they're trading. If you're trading Total 2, you're actually trading coin and vice versa. Coin and Total 2 are very tightly correlated. So it doesn't really make sense to me if you're trading one without being bullish on both. I think both don't look quite ready yet. They still very likely need a month or two to turn things around. Still pretty firmly in bearish territory, and that's really what you're seeing across the board. If anything, coin and ETH are tighter linked than most alts, which you could say, well, that makes sense because of Base and because of everything Coinbase does relative to the Ethereum ecosystem. But okay, they're both trading the same, which is bearish. I don't really see any setups on either of those. For MSTR, starting to maybe be something here. Doesn't really look like anything. BTC, Sol, I'll look at that in a second, that correlation, but kind of moving with a mind of its own. I expect this maybe to open up into the cloud on Monday. And then it's just a series of check boxes. Can it get in the cloud? Can it get a bullish TK cross? Can it get above the midline? Can it close above the cloud? That's probably going to take a week or two if it happens. But from here, the target is the target. Is it going to go to 650, 800, 900? I don't know. Would I want to be margin long here? No. Would I want to be in options here? No. At this moment, this is just a pie in the sky idea. But once, maybe throughout May, June, this thing can turn a corner in a bullish direction. Yeah, I like the top of the pitchfork. I like that it's held its levels. I like that it hasn't made lower lows. I think it looks okay here. Looks okay. And if we compare MSTR in the white to Solana in the turquoise, for the most part, they were pretty tightly linked until October, when MSTR just had a mind of its own. Post-election, BTC had a mind of its own. And they've really been largely decoupled ever since. And this is probably more important for the Bitcoin maxis who prefer MSTR over anything else because it's Bitcoin. But just like dispersion amongst ETH beta and Sol beta and whatever else, there could be a series of trades here. Let's say MSTR moves first for whatever reason and Sol continues to lag. Then you get a bonus trade. You get a bonus MSTR trade by taking a Sol trade. Now, they'll probably move tightly enough where it's not going to really matter. If we look at September to December, they really, you're not going to rotate out of MSTR here to play Sol at any point. So they're probably going to be synced enough that it's not going to matter. But again, something to think about into the rest of the quarter if, for whatever reason, Sol continues to lag a little bit and MSTR just takes off for whatever reason. And if we take that a step further, MSTX is leveraged MSTR, which is leveraged BTC, right? So that's 2x BTC times 2. That's what MSTX is. And if we look at all of the Sol meme coins that matter, Bonk, WIF, Popcat, these are basically trading like MSTX. Now, sadly, MSTX is still outperforming these meme coins with vol drag, with fees. So again, if you're one of these meme coin bros, maybe you should be trading MSTX. Not financial advice, but it's been outperforming, I think. You'd have to check the percentages here, but just eyeballing it, it looks like it's been outperforming meme coins. But again, if you're an MSTX enjoyer, leverage on top of your leverage, and for whatever reason, these decouple, then you get a bonus trade. You get a bonus trade in altcoin land down the way. There's something to think about for the rest of the quarter. For legacy, the dollar has sold off swiftly week over week here. And as a crypto maxi, as a Bitcoin maxi, this is what I want to see. This is what anybody who's in crypto should want to see, is a declining dollar that raises global liquidity, that pushes money out of the denominator and into the numerator eventually. If this can continue below 100, great. You really don't want to see this moving too quickly. At this point, just a slow decline is fine. The issue is that there's too much volatility, then there's just too much uncertainty, just like with yields. And then people just get spooked out of everything and they don't want to touch any risk whatsoever. But dollar continues to look bearish. It's in bearish territory. You could say maybe it has a last gasp at the bottom of this range, but still looks pretty bearish. Gold, on the other hand, the complete opposite. This does have a bear div up here, higher high in price, lower high in RSI, but you could say, well, there's 3 green candles day over day over day here. Hard to be too bearish. I agree, but again, I don't think this is an entry relative to what you had back here in January. Just still looks overbought to me. Gold miners still look great. This train has left the station. This ship has sailed as well, but it's on its way to hitting that target. And the rest of legacy is just kind of a mess. It's just going to need weeks to months to normalize some sort of bottom. Just this weekend, we had tariffs off, tariffs on. So it's anybody's guess where anything's going to open tomorrow. But for now, BTC seems to be holding up decently well. I'd be watching this throughout the week. And maybe MSTR catches a bid and starts to send it a little bit faster than Sol or meme coins or certainly ETH. That's all I have for this one today. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.